about Kevin Wilson's impact earlier, Coach. Do you think it's going to be similar when Tom Herman was here? Do you think he'll have maybe more autonomy than some of the other offensive coordinators you've had?
Well, I think that's earned. I think that's, I made a point that he's the first established offensive coordinator I've hired, so that comes with a pretty impressive track record. He's good for what we were lacking, and that's back to the tempo that Tom was so good at, and that's Kevin's world. It's also Ryan Day's world. So when we were the best over the last 16 years was when I had two guys just feed off each other and go. And I feel very good with Ryan Day and Kevin Wilson.
It seemed the timing was so interesting. It seemed like the offense needed to take a different direction. You guys, and one of the best offensive coordinator in the country, all of a sudden becomes available. Just as you look back on that, is the timing pretty remarkable?
Oh, I think it was remarkable. I think Ryan Day's a guy that I've tried to get before, but he wasn't available. He was with Chip Kelly, and then the same with Kevin Wilson. Someone, I didn't anticipate that one, but obviously I admired from afar his ability. So timing worked out pretty good.
When you talked about the fifth-year guys and how rare it is that you have fifth-year guys, how much of a benefit will that be to have at least 4 or 5?
Well, especially when you see our schedule, it's top heavy right out of the chute. We go on the road to Indiana, and then we got Oklahoma, and Billy Price is going to be snapping the ball to JT Barrett. It's not 2 freshmen or 2 rookies or the offense line's intact except for the right guard, so you're going to have some established people. And if you have the 3-4 games, like a lot of times you do early in the season, 3 or 4 non-conference games at home, usually you can develop that experience. But we're right in it.
And one of those guys, Taekwon, he's one of the 10 guys named today, whatever that list is. How important will he be this year? Can you sense, and he had a great year last year, can you sense this is going to be really potentially a special year for him?
Well, he made a decision to come back, and I was around when he was making that decision. That was tough on him. He received a lot of advice, but there's parts of his game, this is how detailed he is, there's parts of his game that he could improve on, and he has improved on. And him and his coach went to work starting in January, and there's no better worker than him. So he's going to be a critical member.
We're talking about this senior leadership a lot. When you guys won in 2014, you had so much young talent. You had Evan Spencer, Michael Bennett, and Curtis Grant, Devin Smith, and all those guys. You guys are going to keep losing guys early to the NFL draft. You know that. But is it fair to say that do you need seniors to win? That there's those tough games that determine a season to get over the top? Do you need seniors?
I think I'd be one of about 130 coaches would say yes. I mean, it's been done before without it, but those names you mentioned, we don't win the national championship 14 without those guys. And they played their best. It's one thing when you have seniors, but when their seniors play their best football, and that's their last year. Evan Spencer, I love him. He's like my son. He played one great year, senior year. Curtis Grant played one great year his senior year. Stevie Miller played one great year. If we can say that same thing about this group, we'll have an excellent season. But there's one thing about seniors than others, that seniors play their best year.
And everything's built on recruiting. With that idea in mind, that you need seniors, is it luck? I mean, you can't recruit guys and think, well, this guy seems like a guy's going to be here 5 years, right? Like, how do you do it?
No, that's a great point. You worry about that throughout their journey. You try to recruit the best players possible. You don't recruit a guy saying, I hope he's out of here in 3 years. But there's also part of you saying, I hope he's out of here in 3 years. It means he's a first-round pick. That's a great question, but you don't even think about it.
What do you expect out of DeMario?
Lesser player because he'll be here for a
No,
while.
I know. Yeah, you're never going to do that. I know.
What do you expect out of DeMario McCall this year? I know he's going to be the backup to Mike at running back. Might he move around, play some H? Or just what do you expect out of DeMario this year?
Well, return game, I'm hoping he's a factor. He certainly showed signs of great elusiveness, and our question is how durable can he be, and how strong can he be? Because he's had a very good offseason, so I'm hoping to move him around.
And it's tough for true freshmen to play at running back. Do you think J.K. Dobbins is going to have a role this year?
Sure. He's already proved the fact that he's going to play.
Urban, you talked about how difficult the conference has gotten recently. Any reasons specifically why that's happened?
Yeah, recruiting. Just look at the top 20 right now, and America, and the Big Ten's all over the place. I remember for a while there, you'd look at the top 25 in recruiting, and you just wouldn't see the Big Ten. They're everywhere now.
Are there any games you specifically circle now, or do you still are you looking at the entire slate of your
A
schedule?
rivalry game, but the way the season's going to start, it's on Indiana.
Urban, with Greg Schiano, were you surprised to get him back for a second year, or was it one of those deals where you asked him for 2 up front?
Well, he was offered 2 head coaching jobs and 2 significant head coaching jobs, and he made the decision to come back. I've known Greg for a long, long time. He's a head coach. He will be a head coach. And I'm going to keep him as long as I can. I thought he's one of the best I've ever been around. He's a little bit better than that. That's how good of a coach he is.
And for you to hand him basically, I think most of the time you have co-defensive coordinators, if I'm correct, just kind of reward that with giving him the full leash.
Yeah, just the way it worked out. I named Coach Combs assistant coordinator, so he's involved as well, which is a much greater role. But yeah, I'm glad we have him.
And I think he was just named like a top 5. Somebody named him a top 5 recruiter in the country. Is he still?
Schiano?
Yeah. Is he still that good as?
He's elite.
Have you had much contact, Coach, with Fickle, and he seems to be flourishing there? What do you hear about him, or do you talk much?
I'll always talk to Luke, and he's great. We don't talk shop very much anymore. He's got 6 children, and my son's going to go play baseball where he's a coach. So it's more that type of conversation, and I think it's the right job for him at the right time.
Urban, speaking of Luke, when you had positions to fill in your staff, I'm sure you looked at a lot of places, but now that Luke's gone, I went back to like the 1940s to find the last time Ohio State has not had a former player on its coaching staff, and I think it might even go back beyond that. Was that a consideration at all when you were trying to fill the positions, finding a former Buckeye to come in?
No, I liked Ohio. If you look, I hired mostly Ohio guys since I've been there. I hired the best guy. Certainly, if he's a Buckeye, that would probably move him up the ranks a little bit. I didn't realize that, but I just look at who's the best coach available and the current chemistry of the staff and what we need.
How could that? I mean, it could help the players, though, right? If there was a guy who was going through the program as a player.
Sure. We got Jeff Uhlenhake on our staff, and see, there's a couple other guys that were former players that are around. Maybe not the 9.
Urban, do you have,
Oh, Hartline's on it. He's around. He's not one of the 9.
do you have thoughts on DJ Durkin, what he's been able to do through his first 15 months at Maryland? And do you see them surprising people this year?
I sure do. I talked to DJ earlier. I saw their new facility. It's a great area for great players, recruiting, and he's an excellent coach. So I pull for him every game except for one.
You mentioned in there that you have maybe up to 7 guys competing for right guard. That's pretty rare. Can you just expound on that and what you expect at right guard?
Yeah, you wish it was down to, there's positive and negative having 7 guys. How do you get those guys reps, and no one has really stepped up and taken it? So it's going to be a street fight, especially the first 10 days, because you can't have 7 guys compete for that spot. And we're a little light at tackle, so if I move a Bowen or move a Munford in there, then we're having a big issue at tackle. So that's going to be number 1 on the hit parade as we start practice.
Of those 3 freshmen you talked about, though, is Wyatt Davis? Oh, I'm sorry.
I said Wyatt. Go ahead, finish it.
No, who has really caught your eye of those 3 freshmen though that you think could really make a move?
Oh, let's see.
Wyatt
Josh
Davis.
was there throughout the spring, and he did a very good job. Wyatt and Thayer Mumford just got here, so it's not fair yet. I'll let you know once we start.
Urban, Billy Price came in as a defensive lineman 5 years ago, moved to the offensive line, had a rough go his freshman year, took over in the offensive line, had a rough start to the start of his career. Now is kind of the team leader on the verge of being the all-time leader in Ohio State history in games started. How valuable has Billy been to you? What have you seen change in him over the last few years?
Yeah, he was. I would not put that on Billy. Billy was a defensive lineman / lineman when we recruited him. He's a pleaser. He's a guy that wants to be perfect at everything he does, and obviously as a freshman that's hard. So we redshirted him, and I believe his second year was the national title. And so he played very well. He played in a very strong. You had Jacoby, you had Pat, you had him. And those guys are very close inside. So I think he's had a great career. I think he'll go down as. I didn't realize he could break that record.
Yeah, if he stays healthy, he'll.
Yeah, he should go down as one of the all-time greats.
Urban, we know what you did with the offensive staff after the Clemson game. How hard was that? Just just the concept of a shutout to deal with in the moment?
It was awful. It was, I can sugarcoat it and tell you something that but it was awful. And it forces you to reevaluate everything you do to make sure that it doesn't happen again.
What is, I guess, JT's role in that this year, offensively, just to get better, to go down?
Well, he's the quarterback, so he's one A on the fifth grade, and you got Billy Price. But the one, and everybody knows this, but the quarterback gets far too much benefit of the doubt. JT Barrett broke a bunch of records as a freshman, and that's because receivers were outstanding and the offensive line was outstanding, and he'd be the first one to tell you. We struggled at times last year because our offensive line wasn't up to speed, our tight ends were not good, and our receivers weren't playing at potential. So the quarterback takes the hit. We have to get better.
I think this is right. I don't you personally over a shutout, is that right?
I don't think we were. I think that's a first one.
When you talk about how valuable Curtis was being an agent, but also motioning the backfield, played basically two positions for you. Can Paris do that?
Oh, sure. Yeah, he was a running back in high school, and we've been working him like that. So he'll be a dual, and he looks great. We just got to keep him healthy.
And I know, everybody's their own guy, but in terms of the role on the team, Paris can be that role that
I think
Curtis
he can.
was.
He hasn't done it. Right. He has everything, including guts, toughness, character, work ethic. He's top 5 hardest working guys on the team.
Urban, you mentioned up at the podium Kendall Sheffield, and we know about the 5-star, the Alabama, and everything that has come along with it, but we haven't really, aside from a few windows in spring, seen him. What is it about him that makes you think that he might be a main piece of that cornerback rotation, and just how good is he for the people who really haven't seen him play?
Well, he's an Olympic or world-class runner. He's a legitimate fast. Him and Denzel Ward are two of the fastest guys we've ever had. He's also got a nice body on him. He's strong. He worked well in the weight room. And he's got some maturity to him. He's not the 17-year-old that's never seen a full stadium. So those are all going to his advantage. And he's learning from the best corner coach in the United States of America, Kerry Combs. And